Hey there, and thank you so much for joining me on this free training. I'm your host Stephanie, and I'll be taking you guys through 3 key things that you need to know for lasting change. Now, tip 1 is about consciously deciding that change that you want to see in yourself. Now, I say consciously decide because here's a kicker for you. Dr. Joe Dispenza says by the time we're 35, 95% of what we do is completely habitual, which means for the great majority of the time we're actually running on autopilot and we're conditioned and programmed to operate and behave in the ways that we have been doing up until now. So when you do decide to make a change, and it is a conscious one, you're going to come up to some resistance because for so long you've been programmed to operate and behave in certain ways. So it's really, really important to become self-aware of who you are now versus who you want to see yourself as in the future and that change that you want to make. Now this brings me to tip 2, which is all around our self-image. Now our self-image is everything. It's how we see ourselves. Now I want to explain the principle of our self-image with a bit of an analogy. Now if you think of your self-image like a thermostat. Now a thermostat is there to regulate room temperature. Now say if you set the room temperature to 24 degrees and if there's a window that's cracked open and it's minus 10 degrees outside, what do you think is going to happen? Some of that cold air is going to come inside and it's going to drop that room temperature right down. That thermostat is going to recognize that there's been a change and it's going to kick in and start pumping out hot air to elevate that room temperature back to its standard set at 24 degrees. Now our self-image operates exactly the same way. So if you make some changes in your life but you don't work on your self-image, you're only going to see some results in the short term. And like that thermostat, that self-image is going to kick in and it's going to make you subconsciously behave and self-sabotage yourself to get you back to how you actually see yourself. So it's really important if you're wanting to make long-lasting changes that you, 1, consciously decide of the habit change that you want to see in yourself, and 2, work on your self-image so the mental picture and the way that you see yourself is aligned with the change that you want to see, and you have to actually picture yourself embodying and embracing that change and living by that change now. Now they say the 2 most powerful words in the dictionary are I am, and whatever you put after that is the truth for you. So that's why it's really, really important to work on your self-image and switch the script of the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you see yourself, and the mental stories that we keep rerunning about ourselves, because they do make an impact in what we do. And here's another thing for you. Our brains are actually designed to forget things. They're designed to forget our past failures and mistakes. But what do you think that the great majority of people do? And I've definitely been guilty of this as well. We keep rerunning these negative stories of why we're not good enough, or we keep, thinking back to our past mistakes and past failures. And so we're stuck in this programming, in this past conditioning. And so without making any conscious effort or working on our self-image to change that and switch that script, we're going to be stuck in our old ways. So it's really, really key to remember this, that we need to make a daily practice of actually reminding ourselves and setting our minds of who we want to be and that change that we want to see in ourselves. And that brings me to tip number 3, which is all around tiny changes. So like Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. So it's about making tiny tweaks, tiny changes in your daily routine that's going to make a long and lasting change in your life. So think of the simple and small steps that you can take today with what you've got and where you're at right now to really live by and embody that change that you want to see. And it's about making tiny tweaks every day and building on that to really see a difference in your results. So there you have it, guys. They're the 3 tips that are absolutely essential to long and lasting changes. These have been the 3 tools that I've used in my own life to help me quit smoking, release weight, start exercising and meditating, and just incorporating more positive, more empowering lifestyle choices in my own life. So I wanted to share these 3 tools. If they've been able to help me, I am sure that they can help other people. So I really wanted to put this free training together and put this message out there. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you soon.